Hey to all my friends out there in YouTube land, Jack from Jack's Hobby Hut here, man of 1,000 hobbies. I'm going to be reviewing this kit today. This is the POLA 331840 Mountain Chapel Kit. Made specifically for outdoor use. It's a great kit. POLA's a great company. I have some POLA kits on my outside layout. They've been out there for 30 years and they really weather well. They stand up to the weather really nicely. I got this kit a couple of years ago at a place called H&R Models in Pinellas Park, Florida, when I was on vacation, and it's a really nice train store. I've only been there once, and I picked up a couple of things while I was there. I would recommend it to you if you're ever in the area. Stop by and check it out. They have trains of all different scales, all different types, all different brands. So I'm going to open this up, show you what's inside. And then I'm going to build it and show you the finished product. And hopefully, once the weather starts to break and it starts to get a little warmer here, I'll put it outside of my layout. Okay, the first thing you're going to notice when you open up this box, if you haven't built a POLA kit in the past, is it's pretty good quality. It's a well-made kit. The parts are all pretty solid. It's really a well-made kit. First thing on top is the instructions. Basically pictograms, very easy to assemble. No surprises, pretty straightforward. Then there's usually a box inside the box. Sometimes there's several boxes inside the box, depending on the size of the building itself. You can see that the panels, the front, back, sides panels are in here. They all have like a stucco texture. Pretty nice. Once you put the detailing on this, they really look good. Okay, so we have those parts. Let's move this box out of the way and put that in here. Let's see what's in this box. And we have a bunch of wrapped items in here. We have okay, some clear parts. I guess windows and looks like the door window or some kind of a window there. We'll put that over here. And I feel something else. An actual bell to put in the bell tower. That's pretty nice. It looks like it's made of brass, actually. It'll be weatherproof. Very nice. And what else do we have? We have the steeple itself. This looks like it's probably the only part in the kit that actually has a paint coating on it. It's like a copper coating. Hopefully that will weather well. Let's say the other half should be in here. Yep. Okay, we have those two halves. Pretty nice. Nicely finished. Additional parts, window frames. Very nice. What else do we have? We have the roof sections. Nicely detailed. Very thick plastic. And that's why they hold up for such a long time outside. Very nice. Mostly just roof sections. Let's see. Those are all roof sections. We have door. Looks like some trim. This is probably the piece for the bell tower. And then we have some more trim pieces. These are trim pieces. And window and door frames, it looks like. Yep, window and door frames, and that's basically it. What I don't see, and sometimes what they'll do is they'll put it in a little section in the corner of the box, but I don't see any glue. There's normally glue in these kits, and I don't see any glue. So this is probably the first POLA kit I've ever had that didn't come with glue. But that's okay. We'll just use a regular styrene cement. What I normally do is I also reinforce the joints from the inside with some kind of a silicone caulk. Being that it's going to be outside, it gives it a lot of extra strength. And I'll show you how I do that once I get the building done. So the first thing you want to do before you start gluing any parts together is to cut the pieces off the sprue and also to clean the pieces up. You can see how there's some little nubs from the manufacturing process here. This is actually not on the sprue on that side, but use a sprue cutter or a hobby knife or some type of a cutter to cut these pieces off the sprue. You don't want to pull them off because you could actually damage the part. For those of you who are not familiar with plastic model kits, you really don't want to do that. We're going to cut this piece off here as much as we can down to the piece itself without damaging the part. And that's just about flush. It's pretty easy because they're big parts. It's not like a little model kit. And then you take a sanding stick that you can get in your local dollar store in the beauty supply section, or you can go to a place that sells beauty supplies. You don't really need to get this from a hobby shop. They're pretty cheap if you get them in a beauty supply. It does the same thing. And this is a coarse grit, and you sand up your pieces. You file off your little nubs that hold the parts to the sprue, and that's basically it. Once you do that with every part, you get them nice and clean until you're satisfied that there's no nubs sticking out, and that's basically it. So you want to do that with every part. Let's take another piece here. We'll take one of the side panels of the building itself, just to show you what we have to do to the part. And let's cut this one off the sprue also, like that, and like that. There we go. And all we have to do is take our little sanding stick and sand that flush. So you want to do that to all the parts first before you start gluing any parts together. It'll make the parts fit together better. It'll make the model look better once it's done. It'll be a nice clean fit. Okay, so we're not gluing any parts together yet. We're going to clean all our parts up, and then we're going to assemble each sub-assembly before we start assembling the building. All right, I got a lot of the parts cleaned up, and now we're going to start to glue some parts together. What you want to do is you don't want to glue directly onto, well, you don't want to squeeze the glue out directly onto the part. There's too much of a chance of getting a blob of glue on your part and wrecking your part. So what I normally do is I'll take a piece of cardboard or a scrap piece of wood or something. I'll put some glue on the cardboard, and then I'll just use a little toothpick, and I'll use that method to put the glue on the part itself. So we just take a little bit of glue, and we're going to go around this edge, making sure that we don't get any glue on the outside of the building piece. We're going to do that all the way around, just like that. And you don't want any strings. There we go. And like I said before, these kits normally come with glue. I'm really surprised that there was no glue in the kit. But this is just a standard tester's model glue that you can get in any hobby shop. Okay, that's the first piece. And that calls for that trim piece on the front. Again, following the instructions. And then this gets the window molding on the back. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to apply a little glue to the molding, to the window frame piece. Try not to get it on your fingers because then you'll transfer the glue to the part itself. So be careful. And that's that. We just place that part in the back according to the instructions. And there you go. Your window is just about done. All we need is a piece of clear on that. And let's take the clear off the sprue. And I know you're not really going to see the edge, but I want to sand those edges down anyway, because that will allow the glass to lie flat on the part. Let me just check the size according to the back here and see how much space I have. Okay, that's good. Now this is an outdoor model, so I am going to use this model glue on the glass. Sometimes when you're building a building kit that's intended for indoors, you may want to use a different type of glue for your clear parts, because this glue tends to sometimes fog the clear parts. But being that this is an outside model, I want it to be strong enough that the glass is not going to fall out. So I am going to use the regular model glue on the glass, which for an inside model I might not normally do. But for this type of model, I always use this type of glue on the glass itself. Not really too concerned if the glass becomes fogged a bit, because even if you use a light inside the building, you'll still be able to see the light through the glass. There we go. Very nice. Came out good. And now we have to do the same with the door. Just put in the frame, and there's some trim work and a little roof section that goes on here. Again, following the instructions, applying the glue sparingly, and we'll go from there. All right, so here we are, 24 hours later, and I have all the sub-assemblies complete. These are really easy to build. You know, I'm one of the reasons why I'm making this video is that I have a lot of friends who are a little leery about building model kits for buildings, for trains. They're intimidated by it for some reason. If you have G-scale trains and you are leery of any of these G-scale POLA buildings, don't be. They're very simple to build, and they really come out nice. The skill level that's required is very low. Minimal tools, a sanding stick, a cutter, a sprue cutter, some glue. That's basically it. Okay, so we have these sub-assemblies all done. They're all dry. The door even opens up, as you can see. Really nice. I didn't put the doorknob on. I'm going to put the doorknob on. And now I'm going to start assembling each of these sub-assemblies. So once I get that done, I'll be back. All right, here we are. We're back. I put all the sub-assemblies together. That took all of about 5 minutes to do. It didn't take long at all. They're all glued together. They're nice and straight. They actually, POLA supplies you with a forming piece that you put inside on this kit to make sure everything is the way it's supposed to be. It lines up correctly. So it's really nice. What we're going to do now is I'm going to assemble the bell tower and the steeple. Now this is going to be a little bit of a problem, I can see. I think that this on the outside layout is going to be a little delicate, this top piece, the cross. This is probably going to be a little delicate. Once a squirrel jumps up on this building, which they always do, this is going to break off. I have a feeling. However, they did give you an extra in the kit. There is an extra, let me see, there's an extra cross right here. And there's an extra brass top right here. So if this does break off and get lost, I can replace it. If it gets lost and breaks off again, I'll make one out of metal. I'll make one out of aluminum, and I'll replace it with an aluminum piece. But for now, this is going to be great. Okay, I'll be back once I put that bell tower together, but before I put the roof on. Okay, here we are. We finished the bell tower and steeple, except for the cross. It has to be attached once it's all together. And the building, the church building itself, the chapel building itself is all done. The door opens up, doorknob is on. I actually assembled the roof sections. Now all I have to do is glue the roof on. There's 2 trim pieces that go along the front of the roof. I'll glue the bell tower onto the top of the roof. And that's it. It's finished. So let me get to that, and I'll be right back with you. Before I put this roof on, I want to add a little caulking, silicone caulking adhesive. This is clear. It doesn't matter if it's clear or white. To the inside of the roof line, in between each section of roof. Now what this is going to do is this going to give it a lot of extra strength, being that it's going to be outside for a long time. This will dry up. It'll hold these pieces together nice and tight. I've done this in the past couple of years with my buildings, and it seems to really help keep them together. So I'm going to run some caulk along each of these seams all the way to the front just like that. All right, that's enough on that piece. And let me just wipe this edge, or front rather. Okay, that's that. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the inside of the building on each seam. I'm going to run some caulk, and I'll do it from the inside like that. Let's see. That's one seam. Two. Three. Four. Now again, this isn't meant to be waterproofing or anything like that. It's just meant to give this, the joint a little extra strength, being that this is going to be outside for many years. All right, that should be good. Should be good enough. All right, now I'm going to glue the roof on, glue the bell tower and the cross and steeple on, and we should be done. I'll be right back. Here it is, it's done. It really came out nice. It looks great. It's going to be a nice addition to my outside layout. I would encourage any of you who have a G-gauge, whether it be LGB or another brand of G-gauge trains, if you have a layout, whether it be indoor or outdoors, I would encourage you to look into the line of POLA buildings. Again, this is the 331840 Mountain Chapel. It's a really nice kit. I did get this one in Florida, as I said, H&R Trains in Pinellas Park, Florida. But they are available locally at your local hobby shop or online on trainworld.com. Go on to trainworld.com. They're available through Trainworld. It's a really nice kit, and I would recommend it. This is a kit that you can build in a weekend with your kids or your grandkids. It's simple. There's no painting. There's no mess. Basically, just like I said, the glue, a sprue cutter, some sanding sticks, and if you want to go the extra mile for an outdoor layout, the caulking, which is really not necessary if you're going to use this indoors, but I would suggest something like that outdoors. I do that with all my buildings, and it seems to work out really well. Okay, well, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. This is Jack from Jack's Hobby Hut, man of 1,000 hobbies. Remember, life is really boring without hobbies.